Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. So, I'm hoping you have an awesome day. What we're going to work on today is word problems. I know you don't like them because you don't know how to set things up or you're not too sure what they're asking of you. So, what I'm going to do today is actually take a couple of word problems, break them down for you step by step, and see how you can devise with some of your answers and possibly build up your confidence with it. All right, so these I've actually taken to, for those that are thinking about being a teacher and trying to do praxis, but these are a lot of algebraic components that can be used to help you with GED, ASVAB, Accuplacer, TEAS, any of those lovely tests. So although it's basically for, let's say, elementary/middle school, because that's basically what they're doing, but we're going to be breaking all these concepts down. All right, so the first one, we are in the Venn diagram. Circle G represents integers 2 to 10. Okay, and circle H represents the integers 6 through 12. How many integers are represented by the shaded region? So as we look at this, what are they asking us? Okay, so we have a Venn diagram. For those that are not sure what a Venn diagram is, when you're comparing two sets and then they have something in common that is inside the shaded area. So they're saying that G has those integers from 2 to 10. Okay? And H is representing the integers from 6 through 12. So we want to know how many integers are represented by basically both of the G and the H. So one thing that you could do is let's list out what are the numbers in G and what are the numbers in H, and let's see what comes out. So if you want, you can say, all right, well, we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's representing the G. Then we have, for the H, you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, because they go from 6 to 12. So all you have to do is figure out what happens in both of the sets. So we have 6, and Pong is saying 5 of them. 7's involved, 8's involved, 9's involved, and 10's involved. So that means there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers that they have in the shaded region. So those are the numbers that are here. Hello, Warrior. Oh, okay. I was like, who's Warrior Human? I was like, well, hello, Renee. I haven't seen you for a minute. Evelyn, hi. We need to chat. Seriously. I've just been trying to go through all kinds of stuff. I need your guidance. All right. So, all right. Let me know what your schedule is like for the rest of today. All right. So, if anything, for the next one, so in the figure shown, C is the center of the circle. So we have to think about what we know about circles, other than they're round, please. Let's keep it moving. Okay? When they have the center of the circle, and we have a segment that goes from the center of the circle to a point on the circle, that's called a what? Okay? So this is information. Hey, Lynette, we have to chat too. I'm sorry, I've been like incognito mode, just trying to get my life together. I'm still short, but I have to be me for right now instead of like, gimme type me. Okay. All right. Is this for ASVAB? This is for basically any test. This is going to be for GED. It's going to be for ASVAB. It's for Praxis. Any type of those standardized tests, they basically use the same type of questions. The only thing that they change up for the ASVAB is they put it more in military term. But the way that you solve, especially the algebra piece, is exactly the same. All right. So what is it called when I got this segment CR? It's a point at the center, and it's also a point on the circle. And if you're not sure, put a question mark, because then I'll be able to guide you in the right direction. Okay? Thank you, Pa. Good. It's the radius. Okay? So I noticed that CR and CQ, they're both what's called radii. Radii is the plural of a radius. So knowing that information, that means this side is going to be congruent to this side. So reason why I put these little tick marks is just to indicate that the length of these two sides are going to be exactly the same. Because no matter where you are, if I wanted to draw, say, another radius down here, that's going to be the same length as CR and CQ. So knowing that bit of information, now you should be able to answer this question. So C is the center of the circle. Which of the following must be true? So they're saying QC, which is here to here, and RC, which is here to here, have the same length, which we just said. They're both radii. No matter from the center of the circle to any point on the circle, that's a radius, and it's going to be the exact same length and measurement. Okay, so right now it looks like A is our answer. So someone put E as our answer. So they're saying that this triangle QRC is equilateral. Now, the radii are congruent, but this thing right here, this is called a chord. Okay? So when it goes from one point to the next, but it doesn't pass through the center of the circle, that's a chord. That is not the same length as your radii. So it can't be an equilateral triangle because all three sides are not congruent. So E will be something I would X out. Okay. Now, since I have two congruent sides, that means this thing right here, this could be our 90-degree angle. Okay. Remember right triangles? And if it is, it could be it could be isosceles. Basically, that's what it is. All right. So we got isosceles right triangle. So we're seeing that QC and RC creates that right triangle. But they're saying QC and QR, which is up here, is that right triangle. Nope, right angle. And RC and QR and RC, that means this angle will be the right. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so it's going to be right smack here. All right, so our answer, if we can, is going to be A. So they want to know, do you know enough information about a circle? So that's what this question is about. Now, for number 3, it looks like a little novel. Okay. So we're saying a soft drink company surveyed a random sample of 1,240 people between the ages of 18 and 24 and found that 5 out of 8 of those surveyed liked the company's new soft drink. Based on the results of the survey, if 200,000 people ages 18 to 24 were to try the new soft drink, which of the following statements would most likely be true? Okay, So between 90,000 to 100,000 people would like the new soft drink. Since all of them's going to say like the new soft drink. So it's either 100,000, 110, 110 between 120, 120, 130, 130,000 to 140,000. Okay. No, you're not going to call the circle a diameter, because the diameter is what goes straight across and it crosses through the center of the circle. So we don't need the diameter. Okay. We just need to know about the two radii. Okay. All right. So here's the key for this one. There's a couple things that they're telling us. So when they did a random sample of basically 1,240 people, they said 5 out of 8 of them liked the soft drink. But now they're trying to use the comparison of the results to what happens if they increased it to 200,000. So how many people would actually like the soft drink? Okay, not a problem. Okay, how many people would like the soft drink? All right, well, let's back up. You're like, what's going on? Yeah, let's back it up. So if we take a gander, if they're comparing our 5 out of 8, and the easiest way to say 5 out of 8, I'm going to slide this over a little bit, is going to be, actually, right here is 5 out of 8, which is a fraction, 5/8. So if we have 5/8, and if we're saying 1,240 people, out of them, 5 out of 8 of them like the soft drink, couldn't I just do that 5/8 and multiply it by the number of people they want to increase to? So what will be 5/8 of 200K? 200,000. Okay. So Pog is saying D. But what did you get, Pog, as an answer, if I may ask? Okay. Okay. So we got baby saying C. Okay. Baby no B. Okay. Look above. I don't see anything above. I just see a D. I don't know. I think TikTok is filtering a lot of my stuff, because all I see is your answer of D. It doesn't say anything else. All right. So if I'm taking 5/8, okay, we can think of it this way. We could, if we wanted to go straight across. So I have my 5/8 times my 200,000. I could multiply 5 times 200,000, which will give me 1 million, and then divide that by 8. Okay, since we're dealing with larger numbers. Okay, Lynette. Okay, so since we're dealing with larger numbers, we just want to multiply. We can multiply and then divide by the 8. So how many 8s can go into 10 is 1. Gives you a remainder of 2. Bring down the 0, that'll give me 20. So how many 8s can go into 20? That will be a 2. And 20 minus 16 will give me 4. bring down to 0, that 4 is going to be a 40. And how many 8s can go into 40? That's 5. And then I'm left over with these last 3 zeros that didn't need to come down. You just add them on there. Okay. So now we have like 125,000. So 125,000 is going to fall between 120 to 130. So our answer will be D. Okay. All right. Okay. Did I scare people away? Think I did. Because now I only got 2 people here, which is fine. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see a heart. There we go. All right. People are here. Okay. So this is how you basically break some of these concepts down. Okay. Did you see where you went wrong? Okay. So since we were taking 5 8s, we're saying 5 of the 8s like the soft drink. So might as well go with that fraction to multiply by the number of people that you will compare them to, which is that 200,000. All right. So, okay. Thank you. Some days I wonder. So we're going to continue on. So while I set up the other one, just let me know if you guys are ever in need, especially because a lot of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm still trying to help people with their GEDs, with their ASVAB, with their AccuPlacer, because you see how quickly everything is happening. Like June is almost done. Like, and I know this is the first week that a lot of the Maryland students are out of school. So with that being said, it's like, before you know it, it's time for you to take your test, and it's time for you to go back to school. Or if you're currently taking a community college class, hey, just let me know, and we can probably do something to kind of help you on your quest of understanding concepts. So you're not alone in this math journey, people. You're really not. All right, so let's see what we got for this before my tape completely goes goodbye. Goodbye. All right. So, next word problem. We kind of have to figure out how to break these things down. But sometimes it looks crazy until you start getting into it. So now we have the table shows the distribution of men, women, boys, and girls in a group of 48 individuals. If one individual to be selected at random from the group, what is the probability that the individual selected is a woman? You feel like you need to go back to school. Hey, it's fine. Stick with me, you'll be fine. We'll break concepts down. And plus, you can save so much money. All right, so key things that we're looking at. We know that there's a total of 48 individuals that's in that table. Okay, if you're not sure, you got 12 plus 18, that gives you 30, plus 10, that gives you 40, plus 8 gives you 48. Then they want to select someone at random. So a little bit of probability. So they want to know the probability. I always like to say it's the part over the whole. So it's what you're looking for over the total amount. So if we're looking at the selection to be a woman, that means we have 18 out of 48. But notice 18 out of 48 is none of my answer choices. What do I need to do? Let me raise this up so we don't get the bar in the way. Okay, what do we need to do? Because we know 18 out of the 48 individuals is going to be women. We have to reduce. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Pog. Okay, we got to reduce it. But what could we reduce it by? Okay. Yes. Karina, good. Simplify. Nice. So what are we simplifying it by? Okay. By 6? Okay. So if I divide my numerator by 6, and I divide my denominator by 6, 18 divided by 6, that gives me 3. 48 divided by 6, that gives me 8. So 3 over 8 will be our simplified. So that means the probability of them selecting a woman out of a combination of men, women, boys, and girls is 3 out of 8. Okay, good. Nice. Now for the next one, when 641 and 29 hundredths is divided by 10, which digit of the resulting number is in the tens place? Ooh. So a couple things is happening here. So we need to divide this by 10, and then we want to know which answer or which digit is going to be in the tens spot. Okay. Pog, you're saying C. Okay, Layla is saying 2. Okay, any other answers? Okay, question marks are welcomed. So if you're not too sure, you're like, just put a question mark. Trust me, this is not Squid Games. You're not going to get attacked. You're not going to get thrown anywhere. You're not going to be offed. Okay? You're saying 4? Okay, so Layla is saying 4. All right. Okay, Pog switches answers to 6. Okay. Karina is saying C, which will be the 4. Okay. Let's take a gander. All right. So, okay, baby's saying 2. Okay, so let's take a gander. So first off, when you're dividing, you're making the number smaller. So you're not moving the decimal place over to the right because that's making it bigger. When you're dividing, you're making things smaller. So that means we're moving this decimal place over 1 to the left. So that will give us 64.129. Okay? Anytime you're dividing by 10, you're going to move. By 10 is just one position because it's a tenth. 1 to the left. Okay? If we were dividing by 100, you're going to move that decimal place 2 places to the left. Okay? Think of how many zeros there are. So if it has 1 0, you just move it 1 time. If it has 2 zeros, move it 2 times. If it has 3 zeros, move it 3 times. All right? But now we are looking for the tens place. So we are going to completely ignore. Let me see if I can get my handy dandy marker. Okay, we're going to completely ignore the 129. So since we're talking about the 10 spot, there's no TH at the end. Anything with a TH, we're talking about the right side of the decimal. But this is just the tens. So the 4, that's your ones. Okay? All right, starting to see some adjustments. So this is your ones. The 6 is your tens. So what's in the 10 spot is 6. Okay? So you have your ones, your tens. The next would be your hundreds, then the thousands. Think of money, right? Just think of money. This will be your change. The 1 is at the 10th with the TH at the end spot. Okay? They just ask for the tens with the S. Okay? If they put a TH at the end, yes, the 1 is at your 10th spot. The 2 is at your 100th spot. Your 9 is at the 1000th spot. Okay? I'm like spitting all over my phone. All right? So the 1 that's at the 10 spot is going to be your 6. There's no such thing as 1th spot. No. Okay? Starts off with 10. Right? So, if you are taking praxis, that was considered like elementary. That's considered all the way up to like maybe 5th grade. But now we're starting to get a little more advanced. Okay, so we're going into middle school / maybe 9th grade. So if x does not equal 0 and y does not equal 0, which of the following is equivalent to 3 over 2x minus 1y? So first off, we have two fractions or ratios, but it's being subtracted. The key thing about when you're adding or subtracting fractions, it has to have what? My new school now. Good. So it has to have what? When you have fractions and you're adding or subtracting, which we're subtracting this time, our fractions have to have what? There you go, Pog. Good. Yonder, hey. Good. All right, we need to have a common denominator. Okay, multiplying and dividing, you don't have to have a common denominator, but adding and subtracting, you do. So if we put it this way, I'm going to rewrite this. So 3 over 2x minus 1 over y. This is when you're going to need the LCD. LCD means least common denominator. Okay? So you're basically, some people like to say, you're going through the multiplication table of each of these. Now, here's my thing. 2x really doesn't have a multiplication table, right? Y really doesn't have a multiplication table because we have our variables. So what you could do is basically multiply them together. So your LCD is going to be 2xy. Right? So that is going to take the place of your denominator. So that'll be 2xy here minus 2xy here. So if you were taking a test, I would stop here. I wouldn't even do any more calculations. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Okay. So Jess, hey Jess, how are you? La loca. You're saying it's C. And why did you pick C? What was it about C that you were like, yup, that's my answer? Okay, so yonder one answer has that denominator. Exactly. Because D and E has 2x minus y. No, that's not going to be the LCD, so we can eliminate those two. Then we have 2xy. Okay, so that means A, we have xy, we can eliminate that. So boom, process elimination. But in order for me to get C, okay, we got a B and we got a C. Now it's going to be one of the two. But in order for me to change that 2x to a y, I have to do something. I had to multiply this by y, right? But whatever I do in the denominator, I have to do in the numerator. So I'm going to multiply that numerator, the 3, by y. Okay, whatever actions happen in the denominator, same things happen in the numerator. So that means my new numerator is going to be 3y. But in order for me to have a y turn into a 2xy, I had to multiply it by 2x. And whatever I do in the denominator, I also have to do in the numerator. You see it now? Okay. So now 2x times 1, that gives me 2x. So now that I have a common denominator, if I want, I could just write that out. But I know if I'm taking a test, I won't waste my time with the writing out. Because remember, it's a timed test. And then on top of it, they only care about, did you pick A, B, C, D, or E? Okay, which one did you pick? They don't care about your work process unless it's what's called like a brief constructed response question, okay, or a free response question. But then right here, I got 3y minus 2x. X and y's aren't the same, okay? They could be part in the same operation, but they cannot combine. So that's why C is going to be your answer, because you'll have 3y minus 2x. And you're not canceling anything out, because if this said like 3xy, yes, you can simplify. But since it's being separated by that subtraction, can't do it. All right. How are we feeling? Okay, grab another thing of tape. Best part about being a teacher, you always have supplies. Because I don't know about how you guys are. I'm not sure if any teachers are on here. Okay, good. I'm glad I make it simple. That's what my goal is to make math simple. So I don't know how many of you guys are teachers, but I look forward to the new school year each and every time because I love doing school supply shopping. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. Like, I used to be those people that would buy like the paper clips that resembled like a sandal. I would do those type of things. It's so crazy. But if anything, if you like I know right now I'm basically just doing a lot of cutting and pasting, but this is basically my notebook that I use for all of my sessions. I just write down all my notes. I try to use both sides as much as possible. And I just really try to give people the option of really like doing work. Like say for instance, like slope. You can have your formula slope on the top, and then you can write down your steps that you're going to need right below. So in addition to the note-taking section, there is also a reference pages that's in the back. So if you struggle with your factoring, or if you struggle with basically breaking down radicals, or just really trying to figure out your LCD like we just did, or if anything, your GCFs and all that, I have a factor sheet in the back. It goes from 1 to 200. And then also you got your rules of integers. I've worked on my group yesterday with this, and we're going to be working on today's group with the operations terminology. So what are the most popular words that's used in a lot of the word problems? And we saw quite a few of those, and we're still. We got our linear equations, we got properties of exponents, and it's really designed from 7th grade all the way to adults. So if you like so, just if anything, there's like a couple places you can get that. If you're interested in purchasing it, please let me know. I'm going to try to stay away from TikTok Shop for a minute because, yeah, I'm not liking it. It's just not it's not for me. But if you do want the link to purchase your own, just let me know. All right, so I'm going to add on before this blows away. And then like it has like a mood tracker. For heaven's sake. I think that's probably why. Yeah. It's like, you're trying to move people away from the TikTok shop. Well, if you treated me well, I wouldn't have to worry about moving anywhere. Okay? I was like, and this is probably why my views are so low. Because, you like to purchase? Yes. Just anything, just DM me. And we'll take it there. Because I don't want them to stop the live altogether. I just won't be able to make any money off of the live. Okay. All right. Can I get the link? Sure. If anything, just send me. If anything, just go ahead and just message me, and then I'll send you the link personally. Okay, even though we're not friends yet, but I will find you. I'll make sure I look in the request area, because when I first started, I was like, oh, I don't know where the request area is. Like, why do you keep saying that I have so many people coming? All right, this one I'm gonna put onto the other side. All right, so here we go. All right, so for the next one, we got the number of absences in Miss Klein's class for each of the first 3 months of the year was 16, 12, 17, respectively. If the average, that's the arithmetic mean, number of absences for the first 4 months of the year was 14, how many absences were there in the 4th month? Okay, this type of question you will see across the board. You will see it in SAT, ACT, ASVAB, GED, regular classroom, all the time. They always have problems like this. Now, the key part is where they're talking about the average, okay? The arithmetic or the arithmetic mean. Now, when they say mean, that means average. If you remember, mean is when you add all your numbers up and you divide by the number of numbers that was in that set. So they're giving us 3 numbers, but they're saying the absence for the first 4 months of the year was 14. So how are we going to set this up? Well, we add up our 16, our 12, and our 17. But then there is going to be a fourth month. So that's the first month, the second month, the third month, and the fourth month. So since we don't know what that fourth month is, I'm going to use an X to represent that, just to give me a placeholder. Okay, I don't want to put a number there. I don't want to put a 0 there because I know it's going to be an answer. I know it's going to be a number. Okay, now, but what am I going to divide by? What am I going to divide by? Put that in the chat. What am I dividing by? Yes, Jason. Thank you. It's going to be 4. I know a lot of people are probably like, oh, well, there's 3 months. No, because if we're trying to find how many absences was that fourth month, we are including that into our division because we're trying to find the mean, but including that into our division because we're trying to find the mean. But sorry, got probably a prank phone call. So since they said the average for the first 4 months of the year was 14, that's what it's going to equal. Okay, since it was 14, that's what it's going to equal. So now we're doing this so we can figure out how many absences was that fourth month. And I know Pog said it's going to be C, might be 11. First thing I want to do, I want to get it out of this fraction form. Because let's be real, we don't like fractions, right? So why not get it out of that fraction form? So in order for me to get it out of the fraction form, I need to get rid of this 4. So this is saying dividing 4. The inverse of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. But I don't need the 1 because I still have my 16 plus 12 plus 17, which gives me 45. Yep. So we got 45 plus X is equal to 14 times 4. So 14 times 4. I helped with the 16, 12, and 17. But what's 14 times 4? Okay. Close, Jason. I agree with the 6. So say 56. Because 4 times 4 gives me 16. We carry the 1, so it's really like a plus 1 here. Then 4 times 1 gives me 4, plus 1 gives me the 5. There you go. All right, so it's going to be 56. So now I want to get X by itself. Okay, thanks. You're all right. So now if I want to get X by itself, I have to do what? What do I do to get X? That's our goal. We want to know what X is. There you go, Jess. Good. So we're going to subtract the 45 on both sides. The reason why I'm doing the 45 is because the 45 is on the same side of the equal sign as the X. And if we want to isolate our X, let's get rid of it. So now you're going to have your X equals, just like what Pog said, 56 minus 45, that will give me my 11. So that fourth month, there was 11 absences. There you go. Very good, Jason. Good job, Katrina. Or Karina. I don't know why I said Katrina. All right. Okay. So for the next one. So, at a computer store on Monday last week, the price of a computer was X dollars. On Tuesday, the price of the computer was reduced by 25% of Monday's price. On Wednesday, the price of the computer was further reduced by 40% of Tuesday's price. Which of the following expressions represent the price in dollars of the computer on Wednesday? Okay, how many of you guys are scratching your heads? Like, huh? Okay, so Pog, you're saying B. Anyone else want to try to take a shot of it? If you could take a guess. Remember, question marks are an answer choice. Okay. If you're not sure, that's fine. So this is one of those real world situations. Everybody always asks, when are we ever going to use this in real life? All right. This is what they're doing with our sales. Okay, have you ever gone to a store and then there's a sale, and then say like the following week there's like a big holiday like Black Friday, or they always do like Christmas in July type of sales, or 4th of July sales. So something that was on sale is now further on sale, right? That's the same thing that's happening here. Bad part is we don't know what they started off with. So if you look at all your answer choices, X is definitely involved. So here's the thing when it comes to sales prices that a lot of people need to understand. When you're taking a percentage off, a lot of you will say, okay, well, let me change that 25% to a decimal, which is 0.25. Then I will multiply it, and then I get an answer, and then I subtract it by, what's left. What was the original thing? But here's the thing. We don't have a price for the original. So we won't be able to do that way. Here's another way to calculate sales prices. And you can do this in real life. Okay? So if 25% is coming off of an item, let's say, I don't know why I have this tape, but I have some kind of tape, right? So say that this is 25% off. How much of a percent is still on the product? If 25% is coming off, how much remains on the product? Remember, everything in life really should be out of 100%. We're not looking at this 110% type foolishness. We're looking out of 100. So if 25% is coming off, how much remains on? Okay, there we go, Pog. Okay, so 75%. There we go. So 75%, another way of saying that is 0.75. That remains on the computer. So now they're saying that the price is reduced even more on Tuesday. Like they didn't even give it a chance for it to sell, right? They were just like, oh, we got to clear the shelves. So now, same computer, different day. But now they took an additional 40% off. So you're not like, oh, okay, well, I'm taking 65% off. Don't add them. Don't add them together. You will get an answer. It's not going to be right. So now, if I'm taking 40% off, how much remains on the product? If 40% is coming off, how much remains on? Sorry, keep hitting my phone. So 40% is coming off. How much remains on? Remember, it's out of 100. So what's 100 minus 40? Or 10 minus 4, and then just tack the 0 on the top. Okay. Not 35. We're taking 40% off. So 100 minus 40. Okay, a little stuck. So 100 minus 40 is 60. Okay, 60 plus 40, that gives me my 100. So if 40%, so these are different days. This is the day that we started off with, that's on Monday. Then this is the percentage off on Tuesday. Then this is the percentage off on Wednesday. So they want to know the expression that represents the price on the computer on Wednesday. So it's going to have our X, our 70.75, and our 60. That gives us E. Okay. Questions on that one? It seemed like I got a lot of silence. They're like, I don't know what she's asking me. Have a question and just don't know how to ask it. Because that happens to me sometimes as well. I'm like, I'm a little unnerved. Like, can you go over it again? Would you like for me to go over it again? I will if I need to. If we're good, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, got a couple hearts. We got a pulse! Which is good. All right. Okay. So we started off. Now, next one, number 9. If 4x is equal to 14 plus 9y and y equals 2, what is the value of x? What should we do first? Okay. Hello, Jonathan. All right. Number 9 is that's what we're working on. So they're telling me y is equal to 2. So that means I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to substitute in for y. All right. So Pop thinks it's going to be E. All right, let's see. So if I go with 4x is equal to 14 plus 9 times 2. Okay. 9 times 2, that will give me my 18. Then we bring everything down. What's 14 plus 18? Okay. Just eating chips and learning. Okay. This is Algebra 2. It's a combination. It's a combination of a little bit of elementary and a little bit of Algebra 1, actually. Okay. So Jason's telling me 32. Good. So if 4x is equal to 32, what would x equal? Let's go back and learn something. There you go. Good, Tomas. There you go. And there we go, Jason. Nice. Because what you did on both sides, you divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1x, so we just brought the x. And then 32 divided by 4 gives me 8. All right. Okay, just a few more. Just to make you think a little bit. All right, so while I set this up, don't forget I'm still running a sponsorship. One is a combination of one, helping me to save my home. I have 7 days left to come up. I'm short $568. And I have 8 days left to come up with it. So in exchange, I was going to sponsor some students that are interested in my GED programs. Maybe even some of them might want to do something online because I have a virtual, almost like a virtual academy, if anybody's interested in that. So I'm trying to help with that, and that's why this lovely little CashApp and Venmo is up there. I just want to make sure that I can use my abilities to help people while also helping myself. Because if not, yeah, I'm going to have to skedaddle. So as your accountant. I don't know if you want me to do that, right? That's all right. Yeah, just, when unexpected stuff, and this was a lot of unexpected, dealing with the backhandedness of divorce, dealing with the having a rough winter. Like we're having a rough summer right now, and the summer just started. But imagine in Maryland, we usually do not get single digit weather. I mean, there was a couple times it was in the negative. I'm like, what in the world? When did I move to Alaska? And then I have students that are in Alaska, and they were just like, that we don't even have that. Like, there's not even much snow. And I'm like, well, because it's here. Come get it. Like when someone says, I lost all this weight. And I'm like, hey, I found it for you. Come and get it, right? I don't want it. All right. So, any kind of assistance you can do, that would be awesome. All right. So, we are going to finish up with these 3. And then we're going to be done for today. This is awesome. All right. So, I know. It's hard. It's hard doing your own business and trying to keep a household and dealing with other factors. It's hard, Jonathan. Trust and believe. I get it. Late nights, early mornings, all this stuff. Yeah, totally get it. All right, so here for number 10. So a student claimed whenever you multiply two numbers, the product will always be greater than each of the two numbers you started with. Which of the following pairs of numbers is a counterexample to the student's claim? So you see how they set that up? They don't want the answer. They want the counterexample. They want the opposite, okay, of what you see. So, like for example, if I go with A, if I multiply the 4 and the 5, my product, which is my answer, is going to be 20. And this person is claiming that the product will always be greater than each of the two numbers you started with. Well, this is a proven fact because we got 20 and 20 is larger than 4 and 5. But we don't want what's going to make it true. We want the counter example. So we want the ones that's not going to be true. So A is not going to work. Now, if it is a multiple choice question like this one is, I like to go to the two extremes. On to the extremes. Billy Joel. So we have A, 4 and 5. But now let me go to the lowest. Okay? Let me try this half and 2. So I know if I multiply half of 2, I'm going to get 1. Because half of 2 is 1. So here's my thing. 1 is definitely bigger than 1/2. But it says the product will always be greater than each of the two numbers. So right now it's bigger than the 1/2, but 1 is definitely not bigger than 2. So right here, we found our answer of E. Yes, Pog, there you go. Okay, so this had a little bit of reading. You had to know what the word counterexample meant. Okay, you had to know what product meant. So product was our answer. And then you had to read like each of the two numbers agreed with. So like I said, in something like this, I go high, then I go low, then I start messing around with the middle. All right. So now this one is also a mental twister. And they always put these mental twisting type examples close to the end of the test when you're like half dead, okay? So when placed into a blank space shown in the increasing order, which of the following pairs of numbers create a list of numbers that are ordered from least to greatest? So basically, we're dealing with -1/4 and a +3/8. Well, sometimes I know for me, I would like to convert it to a decimal because it will help me out a little bit more. So I know I have a -0.25. And then I'm going to get some answers in between. And then 3/8. Then 0.375, if I recall correctly. So we want to find numbers that's going to fall in between these two numbers. So A is saying a -1/2. So negative, that'll be -0.5. And -0.5 is going to be out here. So right away, A is not going to be inside because -0.5 is going more in the descending order. It's less. Whereas I have a -1/8 and 1/3. So 1/3 is going to be 0.33333333. So that will kind of work. But then we have to figure out what -1/8 is. So if we're looking at -1/8, let me make sure. So we got 1. Okay, so this will work. So this will be negative 0.125. Well, 0.125, that's definitely going to be in between. So 1/3 is 0.333 repeating. That will be in this slot. And then negative 1.25, that's not less than. So it's right here. So B is going to be your answer. So if you get a little lost with the fractions, change them into decimals. Okay, if you get lost with the fractions, change them into decimals. And the last one, all right, so we have the Chang family's vacation budget. The circle graph shows the distribution of the Chang family's vacation budget over 5 categories. According to the graph, for how many of the 5 categories is the dollar amount of the budget category greater than $1,000? Which do you think? How many categories do you think is going to be larger than $1,000? If the total budget, which they have right down here, is $3,500. Okay. Hello, Brian. Thanks for the follow. So the whole entire budget is $3,500. How many categories? Is it food, lodging, other, entertainment, or transportation? How many do you think is going to cost more? Is going to be greater than $1,000? Okay, so Pog is saying 2. Do we agree? We can do a thumbs up. We can do a thumbs down. B, yes. Or we could do a question mark if you're unsure. Okay, Mickey is saying 2. Hello, Mickey. How are you? Thanks for coming back. I know, I don't see you when you guys come in or out. So the answer is 2. And guess which 2? Food and lodging. Okay? So if we're saying the whole entire budget is $350, even if I thought of, like, say, what would be half of $3,500? So we got my 1, got my 2, and there's 1, it's 1, 0, and then we have our so it's like 12. Hold on, not 12. What am I doing? Yeah, the heat is really starting to get to me now. It's not 12, it's 7. For shame. Shame, I say. So that'll be $750. There we go. Because that'll be at 15. 7 would be that. Okay. So this is what happens when I don't do everything at the same time. Because this would have been a 15. Scratch that. With the 7, make it 14. Then we got my 0, 10, and now get my 5 and the 0. So even half of my budget is going to be $1,750. So that's greater than $1,000. Even if I take 10% of that, my food is going to be more than $1,000 if I just take 10% out of that. So I'm basically taking away like $175. Still going to be more than $1,000. And the same thing is happening with the lodging. Okay, so there's going to be 2 factors. All right, Well, hello. All right. So much of this stuff. Not a problem, Mickey. Not a problem. Not a problem. Plus, I'd just like for you to just keep on top. Have a little fun with it. No problem. So, that's what I have for today. I know. On this nice hot, it's 99 degrees here in Baltimore, Maryland. And in about 2 hours, it's supposed to shoot up to 120. Hi. Yeah. Audrey's staying inside for the rest of the day. I already did my lawns. So anyway, that's what we have. So if anything, let me see if I can find my little things. If you know of anyone that needs tutoring, if you know of anyone that's interested, I know a couple of you guys said you were interested in my math notebook. This have something with 3 different covers on it. Or if you're interested in some of my courses that I have, just let me know. You can just message me here, okay? Because I don't want to get dinged again. And then if you go here, you can go here to get the replays of my lives. Like all of my replays are going to be on this spot, okay? So if you just go here, if you want, you can subscribe. That would be great. If you can follow, if you're not already following me, go ahead and follow me. So just in case I basically tweak the lives again, just so we can see if we can bring more people in. But if anything, there is definitely some people that are here on TikTok that I would love for you guys to follow. So one, if you're into nursing, follow a Blessed RN because she knows how to break down dosage calculations and anything affiliated with nursing. So if you're interested in nursing, why not ask a nurse who is an RN? Why not ask someone that is currently doing where you want to go? Also I think right now, if we're not mistaken, so you can go see my friend, Miss Taylor at Impact Math 19. She's on right now for T's, ASVAB, and GED. So she does a lot of that to break down. So make sure you go and see her. If you need a chemistry tutor, so if you're taking Algebra 2 next year and possibly chemistry, make sure you keep Professor TK in mind. Okay, she does a lot of great stuff. And then my friend Lynette, she was here earlier. If you want to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, not just like 1 digit, but also 2 and even 3-digit numbers using the abacus. Okay, so looking at how to read the abacus, how to adjust, and how to really truly get the value of numbers. So make sure you follow Learning with Lynette. And then also, if you have a kiddo that's in pre-kindergarten or kindergarten and you're thinking about homeschooling and you need some help with the curriculum, or maybe you just need someone to help you with the reading and math that's affiliated with elementary, go visit my girl Nancy. She's here. She's known as the online elementary tutor. So she knows how to do hands-on virtually, and she does a lot of great stuff. But if you're going to the top of the top, hey, I finally got my guy, because this is Robert. Robert is the owner of Main Street Tutors. And he does AP Statistics, also AP Calculus, AB or BC. And also he does the AP Pre-Calculus as well. So he does all the advanced stuff. He's really good and really patient. So make sure you follow Robert, the AP Math guy. So keep that in your arsenal. Alrighty. Okay. So, that was a lot. So, if anything, go ahead and go over to Miss Taylor. Try to pick up on some stuff. She'll probably, I think she's doing either GED stuff today or ASVAB. So she changes it up a little bit, more so than I do. But I tried to just hit on the math that you're going to see no matter what the test is. So, let's learn it, let's adjust to it, let's focus on one concept at a time. So thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you so much for the follows, for your attention, just coming on in. I greatly appreciate it. And all the likes. I really do appreciate it. So again, if you also want a math notebook, just go ahead and DM me and I will share what I need to share. All right. Yep. We're going to keep that brain sharp, Mickey. That's what it is. So we're going to probably add some other things, and there's going to be some stuff and you're going to be like, ooh, I remember this. And then, We're going to make it happen. All right, everyone, have a lovely day. Stay cool. If you're on the East Coast or even like in the Southern, it's getting hot. But yeah, just keep being awesome. I'm so proud of you. All righty, take care. I'll talk to you soon.